the dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad. The Obama administration has been avoiding this step, but the president made the decision after U.S. intelligence informed him that Assad's forces have used nerve gas against the rebels. This war began 2 years ago. Tens of thousands of people are dead, and the entire region has been destabilized. Major Garrett has just come from a briefing at the White House. Major?
Scott, the Obama White House has, for the first time, declared that the Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad has used chemical weapons to kill opposition fighters. The U.S. intelligence community says the Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad, as I said, has used the chemical weapon sarin multiple times, it says, in its war against the Syrian rebels. Now, the estimates are between 100 and 150 people have died. The administration says this, quote, crosses clear red lines, unquote. The administration announced it was approving military shipments to the rebels. Now, Scott, it's important to point out the administration has not described the quantity or the quality of the military support it will provide or when it will arrive. But it will say that this support is designed to help the rebels defend against, quote, a repressive regime. One other note, no decision has been made about whether to attempt to impose a no-fly zone. That option, though, remains on the table.
And no word on exactly what kind of weapons. Major, thank you very much. This military support comes at the moment that the rebels have lost a key town and are suffering under Assad's air force. The United Nations estimated today that 93,000 have died in the war. Clarissa Ward has made many trips into the war zone, and she's put a face to the numbers.
Even as the death toll continues to climb, no one is sure how many rebel fighters or government soldiers have been killed, nor is there a breakdown of how many civilians have lost their lives. But we can tell that many of the people we met on each of our trips inside Syria are no longer alive. In February last year, we went to Idlib and stayed at the house of a rebel fighter named Azu, renowned for his extraordinary mustache. He showed us around the old city and told us about his dreams for a better Syria. 3 days into our trip, he was killed in a gun battle. He was one of 4 killed that day. 5 months later, we returned to Idlib with a group of activists who had stolen an ambulance from the Syrian regime. We sat next to Abu Hanin as we traveled to the heart of rebel-held territory to hand out bags of medical supplies. In January, Abu Hanin was killed when a shell hit the ambulance. On our most recent trip in April, we stayed in the rebel stronghold of Jebel Azawiya. We heard government fighter jets flying low overhead. 6 bombs were dropped on the tiny village where we were staying, hitting the house next to ours. The woman living there was killed. We had met her the previous evening. Now there was nothing left of the house except the howling cries of her daughter.
Now, rebels we've managed to speak to are overjoyed at the prospect of the U.S. getting more involved. They can't quite believe what they're hearing, but of course many others are concerned that more weapons will only leave more dead.
Clarissa in London, thank you very much.
Welcome back, welcome back. Let me do this. Open up the lines, take your thoughts, questions, comments, talking about what's really going on, man. While you talking about what's going on in the big game, there's a big game that's about to go down in the Middle East and Central Asia, which has always been called the big game by one of President Obama's handlers, Zbigniew Brzezinski, who was a part of course, the Bilderbergers, part of the Illuminati, part of the Council on Foreign Relations, part of the Trilateral Commission. Those are names you're going to have to get to know because these are the ones. These are, of course, these satanic forces that are destroying governments so that they can get control of the oil, control over the natural resources, control over their central bank. And with that, let me come to the line. If you want to get in on this conversation, and you can dedicate, of course, a shout out to your father. But this is a hell of a gift to give to fathers and to give to sons, because it's the poor that will go and fight those wars, man. In the words of Tupac Shakur, they got money for war but can't feed the poor. And you know what I'm saying is the truth, man. If you want to get in on the conversation, 410-761-1592. If you want to get in where you fit in and fit in where you get in on this conversation, man. The war will have a price on this country, on this city, and every state, because that's your tax dollars that they'll be sending over there. So again, this is the racism, as Dr. King talked about, the militarism, and the economic exploitation. Let me come to the line. Take your thoughts, questions, and comments. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Good afternoon, Brother Darren. How are you?
I'm good, brother. Happy Father's Day. But thoughts and comments, man, on this war, brother?
Thank you. Same to you, brother. Hey, look, interesting question for you, brother. Now, how can a nation, as America, go to war against a sovereign nation,
right,
given the Al-Qaeda or whoever, the people that you were trying to fight to destroy, but now you're aiding them to fight a sovereign nation.
Yeah.
But people, when you bring this to the black community about Obama, they can't seem to accept it.
Well, but they're going to have to face it, brother. Our people are going to have to face it because our people have always been able to stand up when we had strong black fathers, and I mean leaders like Dr. King and others throughout our history that's been giving guidance to this country, black, brown, red, yellow, and white. But we saw what happened to the real leaders and real fathers of this country. They were shot down, killed down. Many were in prison and placed in jail. But that's what's going to take place in order to save this country from itself, as Malcolm X said, because it's so evil. It has the seeds of its own destruction right within its own confines. But on your question about Al-Qaeda, when you read it, and I'll bring the information tomorrow, everybody know Al-Qaeda was set up by Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda was set up by, again, the military-industrial complex to kind of, as Hitler set up the brown shirts in order to go and foment war against certain communities and then come in and take away their rights. They're doing it on an international level with Al-Qaeda, brother. It's the same trick, man. That's all. All right?
Hey, Brother Darren.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
One more quick. Hey, man, keep on exposing this crimogenic society, brother.
Yes,
and
sir.
also, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there that's involved in their children's lives, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And so we got to stop these wars so we can have more fathers. Otherwise, it'll be the end. Have you seen the death of the Syrian people, of those in Iraq and those in Libya and those in sub-Saharan Africa and Sudan, Somalia and Ethiopia and Egypt, all of those who have died? But I know you only think that if somebody dies who has on an American uniform or has an American name, that their life have value. So you're going to have to face what it is that you have gone along with and have not stood up or spoken out against regarding the policies of this government. And some of you don't know and don't want to know. You can just say that. You don't know and don't want to know, as opposed to saying, at least let me learn. Let me listen to somebody that's at least telling us what's going on, that's not afraid to tell us what's going on. But you're going to have to face that. And when it comes to them talking about Syria having Syrian, you say, where have we heard this story before? This is the same thing they told us about Libya. It's the same thing they told us about Saddam Hussein and Iraq. But they didn't tell us that they had a central bank, that the Project for the New American Century have always said they wanted to get their hands on their central bank in Iraq with Saddam Hussein, in Libya with Brother Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, and now with Assad in Syria. And that pipeline, which is supposed to be the Type P pipeline to run through Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. I believe one other country it was going to run through was Turkey. Now, why do you think Turkey's having all the problems that they're having? Because Israel also wanted to use Turkey to attack Syria from the back, and Turkey wouldn't allow them to use their airspace. So now you look up, and Erdogan, the prime minister of Turkey, is having all of these problems with demonstrators like a Turkish Spring inside of the squares of Turkey. But again, you're not asking the questions that need to be asked with what is really going on in Turkey. Some say it's because they were condemning and shutting down a park that the people are there fighting and protesting while they shutting down your parks, shutting down your schools, shutting down your pools, and closing out on your homes, man. And you're not standing up for nothing except go to the mall. You going to the mall right now for a Father's Day sale. You know what I'm saying is true. But your shopping is going to be stopping soon and very soon. Let me come back to the lines. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the State of the City.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little slow, Darren.
That's all right, brother. Everybody learn at different speeds, but the important thing is to admit that you're a little slow so that we can at least get in where you fit in and fit you in where you get in on this conversation, brother.
Okay.
Yes,
now,
sir.
Obama's going to go over there and support the Syrian government?
No, he's supporting the rebels to overthrow their government. You understand? Can you imagine somebody supporting some rebels supposedly to overthrow the American government? You would charge them, as some of them did with the Rosenbergs, if you know the history of the Rosenberg family, who were spies against America. And, of course, they rounded them up and charged them with un-American acts, and ultimately they executed the Rosenbergs. Now, this is what Obama is funding a group to do against a sovereign nation over there, brother.
Right. Well,
Only the Congress and Senate can declare war, and it has to be if a country attacks America. That country has never, ever attacked America. So only the Congress has that power, but they're giving the power to a few select special interest groups that go into Washington and lobby Washington in order to, again, go in and destabilize countries and topple countries so they can get their resources and then come in and privatize everything in the country, brother. All right? Like they're doing with City Hall, trying to privatize everything.
What type of aid is he sending?
What do you mean military aid? He's sending them arms. He's giving them money, $533 million, and that's on top of the table. We don't know what they're giving them underneath the table.
Okay, so the Syrian 7-Eleven owner up there on Sherwood, where would he fit into this?
Well, I don't know how he would fit in it, but the question is, interesting thing that they can get all the way over here to open up a 7-Eleven. If we can bring peace to Syria there, he could have a 7-Eleven, 816, and everything else over there, brother. You know? Yes, sir. All right?
Let me give you an update on the City Hall on the pension plan for the workers.
Okay.
Workers.
Yes, sir. Be quick now.
Monday, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock Monday. There'll be a hearing.
Okay.
Now, they won't take it off the table.
Okay.
But they added 2 amendments.
All right.
Amendments were that we would get a 2% raise for 5 years, and the multiplier will be increased from 1.6 to 1.8.
Okay. We'll be getting back into that on Tuesday with Councilman Stokes, all right?
Bring
Appreciate
all
you checking in.
Workers down. Bring all city workers.
3 o'clock.
Down. Last night at the taxpayers' night, there was only 8 people.
Well, that's because they didn't really promote it, brother. So as soon as you find out the next taxpayer night, call in and let me know. The mayor used Channel 25. She know how to use it when she want to use it for Michael Beatty and them white guys in them ugly Brooks Brothers suits, but she don't want to use it to educate the public about meetings and hearings going on in City Hall. All right?
Yeah. Right.
Thank you for your call. Appreciate it, brother. And with that, we'll take more of your calls, 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yes, sir. How are you, brother? Happy Father's Day to you and your family.
To you. And
thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. But I would like to start off with this first. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Happy birthday to you. The next thing, brother.
Yes. Thank you.
My mind and my third eye was open because of you, of what happened to Brother Muammar Gaddafi.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Until they understand that this thing is about the black man.
That's right, brother. Yes, sir.
Until you do right
by
the black man.
That's right.
You're going to have what is going on right now.
That's right.
And you have some of these brothers who they don't understand.
Yes, sir.
But I'm on the side right now, Darren, of Martin Luther King when he spoke. I'm not fearing any man.
That's right, brother. You can't.
None of this.
Yes, sir.
I don't care wars, rumors of wars, whatever they do.
Right.
The same God that gave us breath.
That's right. Yes, sir.
He's going to have his way.
That's right, brother. Yes, sir.
But we have to open our minds. And that's why, brother, I thank you. I thank God for you.
Thank you.
Because you are the only program.
Yes, sir.
The only program that brings it to us.
Yes, sir.
Like this. And, brother, man, seriously.
Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Yes, sir. Love you more for sure, brother. Happy Father's Day. Let me take some more of these calls, and we'll
God
be back in the saddle tomorrow. God bless you, man. Thanks again now. All right. And with that, we'll take more of your calls. Peace. 410-761-1592. Get in where you fit in where you get in on the conversation this afternoon if you'd like to. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Peace, Muhammad.
Peace, brother. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Good. Yes, sir. Thoughts and comments on this, brother?
You know, we have a rogue government. We might as well face up to it. Anybody that don't know the history, they need to go back and study it.
Yes, sir.
We are repeating what has been done in time and history.
Right.
You know, Mayor Rothschild's mother said, she said that if my sons did not want wars, there would be no wars.
That's right.
And you can look that up.
Yes, sir.
People need to understand that these wars are nothing but a racket. And in fact,
that's right.
If you have any influence on your children that are interested in thinking about going into the military,
yes,
it should be required reading from them to read the book by General Smedley Butler.
That's right. War is a racket.
War is a racket.
That's right.
And
that's
then let them decide from that point if they want to go and sacrifice.
Yeah, war is not hell, as I always hear some fools say. He said they can always take them nigga gladiators and say some stupid stuff like that. War is a racket is what it is. And if you got that uniform on, you might well put a label on and say you working for Shell, Exxon, and all them oil companies and the bankers and everything put together, man.
And as we see now, the decision has come down for the U.S. to use taxpayers' hard-earned money to go into Syria and support what they're calling these rebels. People need to wake up and realize these rebels are AKA Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
And they are being supported by your government.
That's right, brother.
They're using Al-Qaeda that they're supporting to scare you,
right,
to make you